Hello and welcome to worship. I'm really glad that you've joined me today. If I'm honest, I've not been feeling myself the past couple of days. And it's because I've been worried. There's been loads of things building up inside of me that I've been worried about. Now they might all sound really small things, but to me, they seem really, really big. I've been worrying about my family. I've been worrying about my friends. I've been worrying about what is happening in our world still. All of these things have been building up inside of me and I've been trying to fix them myself. But it's not really seemed to be working. I wonder if you could pause the video here and share with your class or your family, wherever you're watching this video from, any worries that you might be having in your life right now. But do you know what helps me when I worry? It's when I take a step back and realise that actually, it's not all about me. It's not about what's happening in my life. It's not about all of the worries in my story that I'm getting caught up in. Have you ever stopped to think how you could get caught up in God's story and how that might help you? It's a difficult question, isn't it? I'm going to show you now a short cartoon video. Now, I haven't made this video, I do have to say that. But it's a story about how Jesus called his first disciple, Peter, and how Peter got caught up in God's story and managed to leave his worries behind.
God's story. Peter fishes for men. So part of God's story is about a guy named Peter, and it goes like this. Actually, hold it right there. Peter's real name was Simon. He lived in a place called Capernaum where he had a wife and worked as a fisherman. Simon was just a normal guy, but his life was about to change forever. See, Simon was fishing one day like usual when Jesus got into Simon's boat. He taught some people who were standing around. Then he said to Simon, "Go out into deep water. Let down your net so you can catch some fish." Simon had been fishing all night without catching anything. The last thing he wanted to do was go back out into deep water. But since Jesus told him to do it, Simon obeyed, even though it didn't make any sense. And guess what? He and all the other fishermen caught so many fish that their boats began to sink. When Simon finally got back to the shore, he fell to his feet in front of Jesus. He realized Jesus was not just a great teacher, he was God's son and the rescuer God had promised. Jesus said, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men." Jesus wanted Simon to know that now that he knew who Jesus was, he could tell other people who Jesus was too. In fact, Jesus gave Simon a new name, Peter. It means rock, because Jesus would use Peter to build his church. Sometimes we think of a church as a building, but really, it's people who follow Jesus. And just like we might use rocks to build a church building, Peter was one of the very first people to follow Jesus and show others how to follow him too. And that's part of the story of Peter.
I absolutely love that story. And when I'm feeling like I'm too caught up in everything that's going on in my own head, it reminds me where I should be caught up. The fishermen were really worried, weren't they, that they weren't able to catch fish. You might think, oh, okay, they can't catch fish, but that was their job. If they didn't catch fish, they couldn't eat. They couldn't sell the fish, they couldn't get money, they couldn't provide for their family. What were they going to do? But Jesus took all of those worries away from him, told him to follow him instead. Come and get caught up in my story. Now, I'd like you to imagine that you are Simon Peter, or any of the other disciples as well. And again, pause the video and take it in turn to do a little hot seating activity. So So for this, what you'll need to do is have a chair at the front of your classroom or your hall or your lounge, wherever you are, and everybody else in your group asks you a question whilst you stay in character. So start to think about how Peter might have been feeling before seeing Jesus, when Jesus arrived, and also after. So what can we do this week? Think about all of the worries which we may have had, all of the things going round in our minds, and give them over to Jesus. We can't change anything by worrying. And lots of the things we worry about never actually happen, do they? So it doesn't really help us. But what does help us is focusing in on God's story. Give those worries over to God. Give those worries over to Jesus and focus on what He would like us to do, where He would like us to be. And watch all of those worries melt away. We're going to have a craft activity now. And we're going to be thinking about the other part of the passage where Jesus says to Peter to go out and make fishers of men. He wants us to go out and tell more people about Him so that they can get caught up in God's story. So we're going to make some fishy prayer chains. All you need is a piece of paper, some colouring pencils and a pair of scissors.
First up is to get your piece of paper and fold it in half lengthways like this, making sure the corners are joined up. And then we're going to fold it in half again, make it a little bit smaller, and fold it just one more time as well. Again, just making sure all those corners are tight together. Then we're going to draw our fish shape. So I'm going to draw my fish shape this side. It's really important and that when we are drawing, we're going all the way to the edges. You can draw yours as big or as small as you like. Once you've done that, we're going to cut the fish out, but we don't cut the edges. So those two side edges we don't cut, we just cut round the lengthways. Once you've done that, open up and you should get 2 rows of 4 fish. You can sellotape those together if you like to. And then we're just going to decorate our fish. I'm just going to put some eyes and a nose on and a little smile for this one, but you can decorate it as much as you like. Once you've decorated them, we can add in all of the names of the people that you would like to pray for.
I invite you to join with me in the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Save us from the time of trial, and deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
A little bit off topic from what we're thinking about today, but this is going to be one of our last regular weekly collective worships online. Oh, I know. We started these collective worships 2 years ago when the first lockdown happened. But I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off over the next few months. You may have noticed that my tummy has been getting a little bit bigger each week during the filming, and that's because I'm going to be going on maternity leave for a few months. So we will definitely still be having a few collective worships, but they're not going to be every week. We'll try and make them so we've got some for special occasions. But that doesn't mean that the Big Tales is going away. We are definitely not going away. We are taking bookings for our Easter production, and we do have only 4 dates left. So if your school or church is looking for a full production of the Easter week, please do get in touch at this email address or number here as well, and we can get you booked in. As well as our productions, we are still offering workshops and detailed all the way throughout the year for any age group and any Bible story or Christian value which you might be looking at. So it's a goodbye for now. I'm sure we'll see you soon, and God bless.